Hi everyone, Annette Kessler here with a new video tutorial, and today we are making a squash mini album, which is a really fun project. So you'll need 6 papers measuring 6 by 6 from double-sided cardstock, and what we're going to do is fold the paper in half, open it, and fold it in half again. Then open it and fold it diagonally, corner to corner. We're going to do that with 3 of our pages. So you can play with the colors and the patterns of the papers that you use. You can use solid color pattern papers, but make sure not to use papers with writing or a pattern that has a direction. Here you need papers that with no direction on the pattern. What we're going to do now is create the squash shape. Basically, you insert the diagonal folds inside and direct the paper to close into a square shape. It actually kind of does it by itself because of the folds. If you want to change the direction of how the paper closes, then you simply need to change the direction of the fold lines. All the folds that were towards the inside should be towards the outside, and then you'll get the paper to close in another direction. All depends on what pattern you want to show. So now we're going to attach them together. Apply glue on the right corner or square and attach the next paper. Make sure to align it with the fold lines so it will be able to close properly. And then you do the same thing with the third paper, attaching it to the second paper. Again, make sure that it closes properly. It's aligned with the fold lines. Basically, this is the mini album. It's really fast and easy to make. Now you just need to guide the paper, make sure that it goes where you want it to go, and open and close it a few times so the paper will know where to go. So the next thing is to add our cover papers. And the cover papers are really easy to make. Basically what you have are 3 by 3 inches square. So what you need to do is cut the remaining 3 papers that you have into squares, taking away 1/4 of an inch. That means that all the squares should be 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Just make 12 squares like that with the 3 remaining papers that you have. I always use a trimmer to cut paper, but you can also use a craft knife and a ruler. But a trimmer is much faster and much easier. Now you also need triangles. So what you're going to do is take 2 squares of each pile. That would be 6 squares. Align them and cut them diagonally from corner to corner to create triangles. Now basically you are ready to cover the inside of your mini album. And now it's time to just play and mix and match the patterns that you have on your papers. You can cover, let's say, the blue pattern only with the green pattern. You can mix it with red. You can mix the solid colors with the patterns. You can just play around and have fun and make sure that it's bright and colory. Now, instead of cover papers, you can add photos. You simply cut them in the same size, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and instead of attaching cover papers, simply attach the photos that you want. You can even attach triangle shaped photos, as long as you have photos that can be cut into a triangle shape without removing anyone's head or other limbs. That is really fun. So I'm just mixing and matching my patterns, making sure that looks nice. And then I'm going to attach them all to my mini album. You will have 2 squares remaining because we don't have actually 12 squares, because we have attached the papers together, so some squares are attached one to the other. But it's always good to have spares in case you want to change something, or you didn't glue it properly, or it tore, or whatever reason. It's always good to have spares. Also, we were going to make a cover, so we will need these 2 remaining squares for our cover in case we want to embellish it or make it nicer. So you will use all the shapes that you pre-cut. So you can see I'm mixing and matching and changing the order of my shapes, attaching them to my squash mini album. Another thing is that I've made 3 papers here, but you can make it 4, 5, 6. It can be larger mini album, longer, of course it will be longer when you open it, but basically there is no limit to the number of papers that you can attach together. So if you want to add lots of photos, then go ahead and make more folded papers to add to your mini album and make it bigger. It's up to you how long you want it to be. So I'm just finishing attaching my triangles. As you can see, I have no particular order of attaching them, just adding colors and patterns to my mini album, making it look colorful and nice. So green on green, I'll leave it like that without any triangle. Okay, so my inside of the mini album is now ready. Let's fold it. And now it's time to make our cover. Now for the cover, you will need 2 chipboard squares, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 chipboard, and we're going to cover them with some of the papers. I'm using the same papers from the paper collection that I've used, and I'm going to attach the chipboard to the paper, leaving around 1.5 inches around the edges of the chipboard. Now I'm going to fold all the sides. This will help glue the paper better, because when we guide the paper where it needs to go, it tends to stay there. Now I'm going to remove the corners. Now when you remove the corners, leave a tiny bit of a gap between the corner of the chipboard and the edge of the paper, around 1 or 2/16 of an inch, and that will help us make a really professional looking corner when we wrap it around the chipboard. Now apply glue on opposite sides like this, and now I'm using my bone folder. You can use your fingernail to squash or insert the edge of the paper towards the corner of the chipboard, and that will give us that professional looking corner that we want. Now you can go ahead and glue the other two sides, and you see how it looks, the beautiful corner. And now we have wrapped one part of our cover, and we're going to do the exact same thing with the other chipboard. Now we're going to glue the mini album to the cover, apply the glue on the front and back pages of the mini album, and when you attach them, align them with all four edges of the cover. Really quick and simple. Now the last thing that I want to do is add a ribbon and a front and back cover papers, so I'll have a nice closure for my mini album. So I have here a ribbon. I think 12-inch long of ribbon will be enough. I'm attaching it to one side, and then taking the two remaining squares, remember those, attaching them to the front. This way the front and the back cover will look nicer, and they'll also hold and hide the ribbon. So they have two jobs here. Now on the other side, attach the second ribbon and cover it with your cover paper. This is a really cool project, and like I said, you can make it as long or as short as you want, add photos, add journaling, or just have fun creating it. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click on the little bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. I really hope you like this video, and I will see you next time.